So I have some good news and not so good news. The good news is that God hears your prayers and wants to answer your prayers and do exactly what you ask for. He wants to do it. The bad news is that God answers things on his timing. And God's timing is not always our timing. And most importantly, there's a good chance that God sometimes would allow things to get worse before they get better. And the reason for that is not because God is being evil, right? It's not because God is being mean. It's because he wants his name to be glorified. But wait, I know what you're thinking. Is that all bad news? There is one more good news in this. The other good news is that Jesus showed us exactly what this process looks like. And there are three things we need to keep in mind when we are going through a hard time, but when life is just lifing, right? So here's the thing. If you are someone who is going through a hard time right now, where things just tough and you've been praying God, then you're gonna find three nuggets you can leverage now to help you on your journey. Three things that we can see directly from the Bible that can help you in your journey. So sit back, relax, and let's up your faith, right? Now, if you are someone who is not in a tough time right now, but you've been through one, and chances are, my friend, you're about to go through one, then you need to be equipped with the three things to keep in mind about how God answers prayer, the processes God goes through, we can expect when we're going through a hard time. So you too, sit back, relax, put your feet up. Let's up your faith. John chapter 11 is a very popular story. It's the resurrection of Lazarus. Now, I love that story because I think it's one of the biggest like misdirections because it look like the focus of that story is the resurrection of Lazarus, but really it's what's happening on the other side. Is how God is revealing his character to us about when we pray and his thought process that sometimes we miss. So that's where I come in. And I'm going to reveal to you those three things. Let's pick it up from verse 4 in John chapter 11, verse 4. This is where Martha sent a message to Jesus about Lazarus being sick. And she said, the one you love is sick. And I want you to see how Jesus take that information and what he does next. And to see that, it's in verse 4. So hold tight. In verse 4, Jesus says, when Jesus heard it, he said, this sickness will not end in death, but it's for the glory of God, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it. Now, Jesus loved Martha, her sister, and Lazarus. So when he heard that he was sick, he stayed 2 more days in the place where he was. So right there and then, as soon as he got the message, he had a plan. So if you're a note taker, that's point number one, is that God hears our prayers and he has a plan. Martha sent message, that's the prayer, and God automatically had a plan. The plan was this situation will be used for God's name to be glorified. But I also want you to pay attention to what happened next. Then it said God stayed another 2 days where he was. Now you would think he would rush to go answer the prayer, but he stayed 2 more days. Why is that? Because of timing. For God's name to be glorified, which is the plan, the timing has to be right. The timing has to be right. So at times when you are praying and you're not hearing from God, don't take God's silence for anything else. God has a plan, and the plan is for his name to be glorified. But I want you to see what happens also in that story that is super cool. If we get to verse 11, I want you to see what Jesus does next. Verse 11, he said this, and then he told them, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I'm on my way to wake him up. Time out. Did you catch that? Now, what was Martha's prayer? Martha's message was, my brother is sick. The one you love is sick. That was it. She didn't ask for anything else. But in verse 11, we see Jesus saying, our brother Lazarus has fallen asleep. Now I need to go wake him up. So in other words, saying Lazarus died. But how did he know? That was not the message. So point number 2 is that don't mistaking his silence for him not caring. If anything, God is answering prayers we have not asked for. See, we're asking for what we want. He's going to give us what we need. Martha's prayer was for healing, and God saying here, yeah, I'm going to wake him up. So he knew Lazarus died before anyone else even knew, before he even got the message. But one more thing also I want you to pay attention to. Although Jesus had that plan to go resurrect Lazarus, he never communicated that plan to Martha. On Martha's end was total silence. She didn't get any messages back from Jesus. In other words, she prayed and heard nothing from Jesus. Right? That's why don't mistake God's silence for him not caring. Even though Jesus never said anything, he was working on it. He has the plan. He had a timing thing in place, and he knew exactly what he was going to do and when he was going to do it. So hold on tight. When you don't hear from God, He's still working. He has a plan for you. Hold on, there's more. Don't miss this part. I want you to pay attention to what happened next once Jesus got closer to where they were. When Jesus got very close to where they were, Mary came out. And I want you to see what happens next. Again, that's going to be our third point, which is very important. In verse 32, it says, as soon as Mary came to where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and told him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. When Jesus saw her crying and the Jews who had come with her crying, he was deeply moved in his spirit and troubled. Point number 3 is that Jesus cares for us and sympathizes with us. When we are going through hard times and we are going through trials and life is just lifing and you feel like God is distant, He is not. He cares for us. He sympathizes with us. So what is the big conclusion? I don't have one. The big takeaway is that, listen, that story revealed to us how God answers our prayers, is that God listens to us. Even when He doesn't say anything, He has a plan. And He's never too far away where He cannot care or He doesn't sympathize with us. You are not alone. And God has a plan for you, and He will deliver on that plan on His timing. And don't freak out. Don't freak out if things get worse before they get better. That's all God's plan. So His name will be glorified. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as usual, like, comment, and share. And I'll catch you next time.